Hey everybody, welcome back to Tim's Tech Thoughts. I've got some other people to share their thoughts with me today. So I've got Luigi and Matt. You can find them on Twitter at NerdBlurt and also at Matt That IT Guy.
That's correct.
And obviously you can see them down below. So we're out here at HPE Discover 2018 in Las Vegas, Nevada, and figured I'd get these guys together and we just talk about what we like about the show, what have we learned, what new technologies have we found out about, and I'll just start it off. So last year, I made a video about the machine and HPE's memory-centric computing, and I really like that they're working that technology slowly into like Synergy and whatnot, but they're trying to break the barriers of the normal x86 architecture where it's CPU bound, and we're coming into a place now where we need more RAM. So they want to be able to share that across nodes. I think that's pretty cool, and the labs keep working on cool stuff like that.
I would say I would agree with you there, and I actually thought they were killing off the machine.
No.
As far as from a server perspective, because they originally was supposed to be a machine, like it was an actual physical machine, and then they were like, oh nope, we're not shipping it as an actual product, and then they turned it more into an architecture,
a concept almost.
Yeah, which I think is pretty cool to kind of shift focus midstream like that.
And didn't they say there's a Gen Z initiative where it's like a collaboration of not just HP but other storage vendors to try and switch the architecture? In one of our posts, I think it was called the Gen Z initiative. So to get other vendors like, I think he mentioned like Cisco, and I'm sure there's probably Dell, but try and get away from that.
I remember they were talking about that, kind of make it more of a industry-wide accepted standard and so forth. I do remember hearing them say something like that.
I mean, on that note, something that really sort of, I guess, opened my eyes was the real amount of innovation going on at the HPE Labs. And that seems to be something that we touched on constantly in many different sessions and briefings that we had, is they're putting a lot of money, time, and effort into their labs. And that's not something I really had a good idea of how big they were into that before. Like, they're really trying to drive a lot of innovation here.
But then again, Neri also mentioned in his keynote the $4 billion investment. And most of that, I would suspect, without talking to him directly, is it's going to go into R&D, because that's where most of the money goes, is R&D. R&D budgets are outrageous. But the thing I always thought about HP Labs or HPE Labs is I equate them to MIT. The MIT labs, right? They get to play with the
classic.
They get to really play with the cool stuff, right? They make stuff before stuff is even out there. Or if we look at it from a VMware perspective, with the flings, right?
Yeah, exactly.
They're different aspects. Oh, they may become some kind of product or addition or a feature within, and that's what I think is cool.
I like too that they actually the people in the lab coats out on the floor here are actually like the scientists and PhD people. It's not just marketing.
Not just a booth babe in a white trench coat.
Yeah, exactly. What about, so I walked over where they were showcasing some of the hardware. They had a little DL325, which is going to be released in 2 weeks, which would make a single processor vSAN node. Perfect little machine. I'll have a blog post about that as well, but what hardware, or is there any particular hardware that you found, or maybe something different? What about something in the direction of the company? Is there anything else that kind of stuck out to you guys?
I'll let you go first, Matt.
Sure. Two things sort of stuck out to me. Lots of talk about edge computing. That's definitely going to be big, and all the analytics and everything that goes with that. And tied to the analytics, InfoSight. So, since HPE announced that they were buying Nimble, I mean, I don't think it's been any secret that everyone assumed it was largely for InfoSight.
I think that was a good acquisition.
Oh, absolutely. And, based on the roadmap, so, back in October, I think it was, me and Luigi were at HPE Tech Day. And we talked a little bit about InfoSight then, and that roadmap, they've progressed along there. And they show no sign of slowing down with the integrations. And I think that's really going to be a key distinguishing feature for HPE going forward.
Absolutely.
What was the second thing?
Just all the edge devices.
Oh, okay. Well, for me, it was a little different. It's more about the culture. And it's actually a blog post I was writing, and I don't know when you're going to drop this video, so maybe it'll be after my blog post, which will be posted tomorrow. I look at Antonio Neri, and we were discussing this a little bit, was Antonio Neri set up to be the good guy in all of this? It was a little lunch conversation we were having. And for me to see how he was on stage and his presence and just his energy, And then also him taking a selfie with me, which I thought was pretty cool, randomly on the floor. He was just randomly walking the show floor by himself. Kind of almost reminded me of Michael Dell walking the show floor, because that's Michael Dell's really good at that.
Really brings that personal level down.
Yes, but what I was telling you guys earlier was I could almost see Antonio Neri doing what to HP with Satya Nadella, the CEO of Microsoft. I'm going to kill his last name. Did for Microsoft and started to change that culture, and from the top down. It started with that fundamental. No, this is my good beliefs and so forth. And it also helps that he's an engineer, right? So he's also a techie at heart.
Oh, it's like Pat Kelsinger was a techie too at heart. And look what he's done for VMware.
I love Pat Kelsinger. More importantly, because he promotes a healthy work-life balance. And Pat, if you ever watch this, let's chat, man. But to me, that's really what it is. But the other thing is, it drives that HP's had major change over the last few years, and it really sets the tone of they've made all this physical changes and what's going on, and how is it now going to start changing the people and the process and how they interact with customers and their future going forward.
Yeah, I know the long-standing joke has always been, acquired companies come to HPE to die.
Yes.
And I feel like that's changing. I feel like with Antonio coming on board, that the culture of the company is changing to where that's not the case anymore, especially like with the Nimble acquisition.
Yes.
They didn't just take Infosite and kill off Nimble. They're keeping it and promoting it as a good product and keeping that technology. So
and even simplicity to some degree, right?
Like
that's still very much its own product that it's got its perfect fit in the market, and they're trying to nourish it.
Yeah, they ended up more so killing off the what was the storage that they had? Not Store Once because it's deduplication, but
which one?
The virtual storage appliance that they had.
Yeah.
Anyway,
it was a Store Once virtual appliance.
The VSA.
The VSA. Yeah. I originally thought that might end up, just getting the SimpliVity technology put into it, and then they'd keep that branding. But they didn't. They kept the SimpliVity branding and technology and decided to kill off what they had.
I'm still waiting for a full software version of SimpliVity.
Yes. Yeah.
That I could just
cool.
fire up in my virtual environment.
Yeah.
Kind of almost like the Store Once appliance that they had.
Well, guys, thanks for joining me today. I've got links to both of them on Twitter, their blogs as well, and especially the article that Luigi's going to drop here.
Yep.
And be sure to click subscribe below. Thanks.